Well, good evening and welcome to Phoenix Raceway. I had to think about what name this track is since it's gone through a couple over the last couple of years as we get set to go for the Napa Auto Parts 156 here from Phoenix Raceway. Jacob Kozlowski here with you for the call once again. 156 laps here from Phoenix Raceway. They get 5 sets of tires overall. Field window's about 82 laps. And Al, I think this track's going to be a little interesting for these guys here, especially compared to last week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, Jacob, I missed you last week. Welcome back. We had a fantastic race last week, and I expect this one to be nonetheless just the best. We're going to have some cautions here. This track is not very tire friendly. You can get 80 laps on a field run, but you cannot get 80 laps on a tire run. Some people are going to try to run it like they did last week. We had seen some cars go 88 laps on tires and fuel last week, and it was simply amazing. This week we're going to watch some turns that are going to be different. 1 and 2 is a little bit different than the dog leg in the back there coming out of 1 here. So we'll see some diving into the dog leg, and we'll point out what the dog leg is when we get to that off of turn 1. Some of them will stay on the track, but as they come into the next turn, at turn 2, you'll see a lot of braking and sliding, and you'll also see some people losing control coming out of that turn 2. It's going to be a phenomenal race tonight, and I can't wait to watch.
Well, and one thing to remember here is the fact that this track is different from what they run in the Cup Series normally. We'll get to that in a little bit, but now it's time for the invocation, then the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages.
Oh, say, can't you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Here we go, Jacob. It's going to be some excitement. As you notice in the field tonight, we don't have I believe he's second place in the points, Kyle Feemster. He did not qualify for tonight's race, so this can either give Caden Rush in that 15 car a huge point advantage, or if Caden races like he did last week, he could end up in the back of this field. I expect to see a driver that's not won a race yet this season to win a race tonight. I kind of feel good about this track, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to put my money on let's see. Let's go Andrew Melvin in the 37 car.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Kyle Feemster's third in the points. He's got a 1-point lead over Stephen West. West is in the field. He's starting fourth tonight. So or make that third. He's starting third, so Stephen West will take over third spot in the points. There's no doubt about that. Jay Felton's also here. He's in fifth. He should pass Feemster as well. Feemster's probably going to drop outside the top 5 at least in points by the time this thing is done. Field comes off turn 4. Brian Johnson. And, well, I'm not sure who that is on the outside of him, but here we go. Green flag. It's Chris Severa. No, Greg Hectus. We're underway at Phoenix. Here we go.
The caution lap is pretty short here. They run a 2 caution lap, but everybody looks like they're staying in line right now and minding their P's and Q's.
Here comes Caden Rush, though. Splitting cars like no tomorrow, going for the lead in turn 3 on the inside. And it looks like he is going to maybe get to him at the line. Here they come off turn 4 to complete lap number 1.
Oh, it was close. I think Brian Johnson, no, Caden Rush did get him in that 15 car. He did.
Caden Rush. Caden Rush leads the first lap, and he'll clear Brian Johnson off turn 2.
You see as everybody dives down into underneath that yellow line, that's the dog leg. Some folks will take that, some folks will stay up here, but these racers, they'll change it up during the course of this race as the tires wear. They'll stay off that dog leg because you can get off a loose down there.
Oh, speaking of loose, somebody got way loose in the back. Craig Johnson in the 83, he's able to keep that car going, but it was facing a wrong way coming off turn 4. Stephen West now in second. Hectus looking for third, trying to get a run on Brian Johnson, with Clifton Cockrell in the 5th spot right behind him.
Yeah, they're staying nose to tail right now, and you won't be seeing that the whole race. They're going to split this apart, and there'll be some 2x2 racing, and they'll be going to those corners and those turns side by side, and that's not going to be a good thing here. It looks like the 87 of Gregory Hectus runs down on that dog leg and tries to get some speed, and he does gain a little bit off of Clifton Cockrell in that 16 car, but Clifton is on his tail.
And he's not able to gain on Brian Johnson, which I think was the bigger target. He's closing in on Weston Rush out in front, as Rush is now starting to see some pressure from the 74 machine. Off turn 2, they will all stay up on the high side. And one thing that's different about this racetrack from the Cup Series is the fact that this track has gone through renovations. Turns 3 and 4 that they're in right now are actually now turn 1 and 2. This is now the backstretch at Phoenix. The start-finish line moved to just off of what is currently turn 2, now turn 4. So this track kind of got a facelift, similar to how Darlington got one, as well as Atlanta back in the early days. And we've seen some interesting races at the new and somewhat improved Phoenix Raceway as the battle for the lead between West and Rush in turn 3.
Well, the current track temp is 107 degrees, and that's going to start cooling off. And as that cools off, we'll see a little bit more speed. But I'm really kind of shocked that these cars aren't looser than they should be at that track temp.
Yeah. That, or they're doing a great job of hanging on to these cars and keeping them rather stable. West and Rush still side by side, headed for turn number 3. Rush gets the better run on the high side and is able to clear West again. He's blinking a little bit, which
yeah, he must be having contact problems there, because he did that a little bit last week and then it smoothed out for him. And I'm not too impressed with what Caden's pulling off right now. He is in the lead. However, he's abusing those tires, and this is not a track that you want to abuse in tires. That right front can only handle so much.
Well, we saw the same thing in Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. We've seen it a couple times this season where Rush just abuses his tires too much and then starts to fall through the field as we get into a longer run. As Rush gets a little loose coming off turn 4.
Stephen West pulled right under the bottom of him. He's going to take him in this corner because Caden Rush is going to have to check up. He's going to have no choice.
Still on the inside. Rush gets the best run on the top.
It's amazing. Yeah, Caden Rush must have a good setup to run that top line like that.
Yeah. He'll stay out in front.
And why Stephen West went low like that? He was right on his tail. He's got to keep the pressure on Caden Rush. You got to keep the pressure on Caden. That's the only way you can, get past him and make him make a mistake. If you don't keep the pressure on him, he's not going to make a mistake.
This is bunched up the top 5 once again between Caden Rush, their leader, Stephen West second, Brian Johnson third, Gregory Hectus fourth, and Clifton Cockrell fifth. Then you'll have to go a little bit farther back to Andrew Melvin in that 6th spot, your pick to do some things here at Phoenix. Meanwhile, let's look a little farther back to 13th place, 12th and 13th. Kenny Powell, Jeffrey Smith, side by side going into turn 1. Powell trying to keep it on the inside of Smith. Powell trying to hang tough on the bottom, but it doesn't look like it's going to work off turn 4. Gets a little sideways, and he'll lose that spot, and Matt Hornbuckle will come up and try and pick up the spot as well. Here's Mike Knight driving through the field. Now up into 6th, passing Andrew Melvin down the back.
That dog leg, he went down, and that's going to be the quickest way around for some drivers. Some of them will lose control coming off of that.
Especially on the older tires, you'll have less grip coming back up onto the banking. So Mike Knight moves up into the 6th position, but he's got a long way to go, more than a second, almost 2 seconds, to catch up to the top 5. As it's a pretty tight-knit pack here. With these 5 guys, and West and Rush are still all over each other, fighting for the lead.
Looks like Manatsu Majors in that 82 is trying to get
Battle for the lead. Rush and West side by side, coming off turn 2. West almost spins out. Got loose off corner exit and took it down onto the flat. I think that was his plan originally, but he loses some time, and that allows Rush to pull back away. Sorry, Al.
Not a problem, not a problem. I was just watching the battle between Manatsu Major and Michael Eames. And that's kind of played itself out here, so we're just fine. Everybody is really driving with caution right now. They don't know when that first caution is coming out here. So Chris Johnson is going to put the pressure on the 37 of Andrew Melvin here, and that kind of splits up. So we really don't have any battles going on right now, which is not going to last. I mean, but for the first 15 laps, I'm really impressed with these guys tonight. They've kind of calmed it down, and they've come to the understanding that they cannot win a race if they do not finish it. And this has not been known the past 3 or 4 races. Everybody's raced like it was 1 lap to go.
Yeah. I was going to say, Kentucky, they wrecked on lap 1. Indianapolis, I think it was lap 2 that they wrecked. Last week, I believe it was lap 7 that the first caution came out. So this is the longest we've gone into a green flag run to open a race. Probably since Sonoma when we went caution-free. So it's been an interesting ride for these guys. Caden Rush, 0.4 of a second out in front of Stephen West. He's kind of elongated that gap just a little bit, as that top 5 is now starting to spread out a little bit more around this racetrack.
They have spread way out, Jacob. This is pretty interesting, the kind of strategies we got here. And we're going to see some folks that are going to try to do some fuel economy things here, I believe, but these tires are not going to allow them to do it. So I would expect to start seeing around lap 45, start seeing some pit stops going on here. These guys, the handling is going to fall off here in about 10 laps. And we're going to start seeing speed slow down. Right now, the current lap time for Caden Rush is at 28.192.
We've got a big stack up for 11th on back. Hornbuckle, Smith. We're on Hollyfield leading that train. Kenny Powell washes up. That's going to allow Felton and possibly Travis Rolone to go by. Here comes Hornbuckle underneath Jeffrey Smith. Too far back now going into turn 3. Still got Felton underneath Powell coming off turn 4. Powell gets the better run on the high side and will hang on to that 14th spot.
Oh, whoa. Brian Johnson got extremely close to the wall coming out of that turn. I thought he kissed it, but he kept it away from it. Our leader, Caden Rush, in that 15 has got himself almost 3/4 of a second gap between him and second place Stephen West.
Yeah, he's really pulled away now as this run goes on. Brian Johnson, Gregory Hectus fighting for that 3rd spot. Hectus with a little bit of a
Stephen
run.
West gets loose coming off that corner. Stephen West has got a machine that he is not happy with right now. He is hoping for a caution, and it's not going to involve him. He needs to make some changes. This car is extremely loose coming off those turns. He might have abused his tires on trying to pass Caden Rush.
Jeffrey Smith just disappeared from existence, so that's not good for him. He's gone for a considerable amount of time, so he'll probably fall out and then hop back in.
Yeah, a little wiggle of the 74 allowed Caden Rush to get 1.2 seconds gap between him and the second place car now.
Yeah, he is pretty much gone. Battle for 7th place heating up. Chris Johnson, Mike Eames, with Munatsi Major looking on from behind. Probably the closest battle on the racetrack right now. And as soon as I say that, how about 3rd place? Hectus underneath Brian Johnson.
He's going to try to push it, and it's going to get one of them. Oh, they managed to hold it through there. I thought one of them was definitely going to get loose there.
And
let's see what this next turn is.
There on the bottom.
Very important.
See what Hectus can do off the corner. Gets the power down. He'll dive down onto the flat. Come back up.
That took away some time from him. That gave Brian Johnson an opportunity to sneak forward a little bit, but Hectus is going to get him on this turn. Brian had to check up.
He tried to get the crossover there off turn 4. Couldn't quite get underneath them and keep the power down. Gregory Hectus to P3. And now a 2-second gap for Caden Rush to Stephen West. West has fallen back towards Hectus in that 3rd spot. Whoa, there goes Stephen West up the track. Gets it back going.
He's been fighting with that monster.
Yeah.
I mean, he is way out of that rear end of his is getting really loose. And that's going to give the opportunity for Gregory Hectus to close in, and that's not what Stephen West wants in his rear view mirror. If he gets any closer, he's so loose in that rear, it's going to spin him right around.
And it's going to allow Caden Rush to continue to pull away. 2.5 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd. As Hectus continues to close in on West, about 3 car lengths the gap, with Brian Johnson looking behind as well.
Now Caden Rush is slowed down to a 28.4. 28.479 a lap. Second place is running a 28.654, so he's even a half a second slower than he was in the beginning here.
Well, these tires fall off quick.
Yeah, about at 5 to 10 laps, there's a half a second to a second gap as the vehicle starts slowing down. These race cars do not like this track. That's a very hard surface, and the tires get eaten right up. It looks like Gregory Hectus is going to, well, he was closing in there for a minute, but he checked up.
He's kind of lurking back there.
Yeah, this is not what Stephen West wants to see here. He is so loose coming off that turn. He gets any air underneath him, and he is going around.
I just want to phase back into reality for a moment just to comment that Jimmy Johnson's going to get screwed out of a win for the 1800th week in a row. All right. Back to this race.
Gregory Hectus is taking the dog leg down, and he's going to try to pass Stephen West, and he has got him. He West checked up.
Yeah,
he knew he better check up.
Outside. Hectus drove him maybe a little too deep. West trying to come back on the bottom. But Hectus hangs on.
Looks like Jeffrey Smith is back in that 96 car, but he is 8 laps down.
Yeah, that's a shame for him. He was looking pretty good early on.
Oh, there is a Stephen West sandwich going on right here. Brian Johnson and Gregory Hectus, they have got him surrounded. His car is already loose. You take any air off it, and he is going to meet that wall by accident.
And for once in this real life crash, Jimmy Johnson wasn't at fault. He was the meat in the sandwich, trying to avoid another wreck, and Matt DiBenedetto and Austin Dillon squeezed into him. DiBenedetto's car got the worst of it. He'll be done for the night.
We have one on pit road. I just seen somebody slowly trickling down
Michael
pit
Doyle
road.
in the Kevin Harvick lookalike machine at number 12.
Yeah, that's 31 laps in. If he does, he's only got, we have 5 sets of tires. That might be a smart way to do it because he's going to get back on a track on some fresh tires. So he might be all right.
Now he just went to the garage, Al.
Maybe
Michael
his car
Doyle
was
comes
not
from late.
handling the way he wanted it then.
So he'll go to the garage.
It looks like Brian Johnson took that third position away from Stephen West. So Stephen West is just in survival mode right now as he's just come sideways off these corners. That 74 is extremely loose. Caden Rush has put almost a 4-second lead in front of Gregory Hectus in that second position. They need a caution. If we don't get if this is a caution-free race, we're just going to watch Caden Rush turn left, turn left, turn left, and walk away with this race.
And eventually turn right if the car gets too loose. But here's, whoa, speaking of loose, I just saw Matt Hornbuckle make the chicane on the front straightaway there. That was close. Watching 11th on back here. Ron Hollyfield, Jay Felton, Kenny Powell, Travis Rolone, Curtis Valenzuela, Tyler Pluff, and Hornbuckle all back here in this pack.
Yeah, watching Jay Felton, he is coming up really close on that 90 car.
He's been lurking behind Hollyfield for the last couple of laps. Just trying to find the time to get by him. Thought about using the bumper right there. Can't do it.
And the 24 is looking really good tonight. This is new territory for Kenny Powell. He has not made past 7 laps without hitting something. So he is in a whole new atmosphere right now. Yeah. And he is looking like really good. He's closing up on the 8 car of Jay Felton. Is going to put some pressure on that. He's probably looking for the window to open up where Jay Felton will go underneath the 90 of Ron Hollyfield, and then he'll follow right behind him.
Closest battle on the racetrack right now is for this 11th spot between Hollyfield and Felton, with Powell and Rolone lurking in the background.
Yeah, it looks like Rolone is not wanting to lurk too much longer. And it looks like Felton's going to go low, and he has a...
Now, thought about it. Hollyfield had the better run on the high side, and he'll hang on to the spot off turn 4.
You got to be cautious passing low because you can push up into the car.
Yeah.
And he's going to try it here, and he's going to back off a little bit.
Especially the way the air changes on these cars. When you get side by side, it can tighten your car up or loosen your car up in a hurry in a way that you're not expecting, and either take you or your competitor out in one fell swoop.
Yeah, Kenny Powell closed up fast.
Yeah.
He closed up extremely fast on Jay Felton there. I think Felton maybe brake checked a little earlier than Kenny Powell did. Kenny caught up right behind him.
Powell
is
kind of
Travis
back
Rowland.
the corner there.
Yeah, he is waiting.
Four and a half seconds of the gap between the leaders. Still watching this battle for 11th right now.
Yeah, we're. I'm watching the what is it? 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th car here. We're watching 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. It looks like Kenny Powell is going low on the 24, and Travis Rowland is going to take it on the high side, but Kenny's not giving the position up too easily.
Well, Kenny got loose coming out of turn 2. That allowed Rolone to get to the outside and have a run on him. Let's see what it looks like coming off turn 4. Still side by side.
Kenny Powell got really loose that time.
And Rolone hangs onto the spot, takes the defensive line into one, almost spins it, drives it up the racetrack, and here comes Powell back on the low side.
And right behind them is Curtis Venezuela and the 21 with Tyler Pluff. Tyler Pluff got a humongous run to go skating around the outside of Curtis Venezuela.
Rolone will hang on to that 12th or that 13th spot. Felton and Hollyfield still battling for 11th.
Watch the 21 Bush of Tyler Pluff there. He's coming up pretty strong. He's either going to abuse these tires. He might have laid back enough to save him some tires, thinking these guys are going to use their equipment up. We've got about 7 laps, and I believe we're going to start seeing some folks hit pit road.
I have to wait and find out. 5-second gap between Caden Rush and Gregory Hectus. That is your leader, Rush is. He's led, I believe, just about every single lap so far tonight.
That's almost a quarter of the track.
Yeah.
Let's check and see what kind of lap times Caden Rush is running in that 15 car. He's 2/10 off of what he was 10 laps ago, so he's not slowing down that much. He's at 28.758 as he goes down. See when he comes off his turn, he slows down to 106 miles an hour in this turn, and as he comes off his turn, he's going to go across the start-finish line at 151. So he slows down about 105, 106 miles an hour around these turns, and he gets it back up to almost 170.
Yeah. It's not a slow race car. We know that much here. He's been able to pretty much put on a clinic here so far at Phoenix. Still has a big blinking problem that may hurt him here in the long run. We'll have to wait and see. Especially if we get a restart, him blinking around the field will not be good for everybody else. Still the battle going on between Felton and Hollyfield for 11th. Closest battle on the racetrack.
And as we run through here, we've got lap traffic. Paul Olson in the 43 just got lapped, and he's going to come into play. Lap traffic can come into play because they can get a little loose. Stephen West has fell way back into 4th here, and he is taking his time, just buying time, waiting for a caution. He needs a caution. I fully expected to see him in pit road by now.
One on pit road, Paul Olson. The guy that just got lapped, he's decided to bring it home. Onto pit road, get some tires, and try and get back out there in that 43 machine. Only car to come onto pit road and not park it thus far.
Yeah, all these drivers, they either love this track or they hate this track. There's no middle ground here.
Yeah. Oh! Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. Real Cup race. Ryan Priest just took the hit of a lifetime against the inside wall. That is... Oh... I haven't seen it hit that bad since Newman. Sorry for getting distracted.
I hope he's just fine.
It reminded me of the Eric McClure Xfinity wreck at Talladega many years ago when the brakes didn't work. It seemed like he had no brakes. That thing almost rolled, and he's moving around in the car. Thank God.
Are they racing at Texas tonight? Is that
Kansas?
I knew the S was the ending.
Oh, they're just in the final stage. He's out of the car, and he is furious. I think he's going to go kill a man right now. He is furious. Wow, that was huge. I believe Ryan Newman was also in that, as well as Christopher Bell. I think he just got collected in it. Bell was the first car I saw sideways. Meanwhile, back to this. Travis Rolone is caught. Ron Hollyfield as Jay Felton is taking the 11th spot.
It looks like Brian Johnson is slowly creeping up on the Gregory Hectus back up in the front here. Battle for second and third is heating up.
It looks like Hectus is having a tough time holding it on the bottom. Brian Johnson, not so much. How is Ryan Priest alive? That thing almost flipped. It did catch air. Oh. Wow. Yeah, I think that's more on Christopher Bell than Ryan Newman. I'm not sure. Bell and Newman made contact. Bell got sent up into the outside wall and then came back down. Red flag is out there, so you can come watch this and not miss anything on the NASCAR side.
What happened to Tyler Clough? He was running so good, and he's dropped way back into the 14th position.
Well, that's about where he was. He's actually gained this spot. He passed Kenny Powell. So Clough hasn't lost anything. Believe it or not, he's gained since we talked about him with him passing Powell, and he's now trying to close in on Rolone for that 13th spot.
Yeah, Rolone's closing on Hollyfield.
Yep.
He wants that to.
After Felton was able to get by. And Hector's taking the defensive line against Brian Johnson, which is preventing Johnson from getting by him at this point.
Let's see what fresh tires. Watch that 43 of Paul Olsen, how he just easily passes the
Hornbuckle's on pit road as well.
They need those new tires here. It looks like Curtis Venezuela in the 36 is coming to pit road. About 4 laps shy from what I thought. They were all going to start rolling down here.
Caden Rush goes right by. Hectus and Johnson slide at the racetrack in 3 and 4. So they'll stay out, and Brian Johnson closing in.
That Chris Johnson's working his way up too. That is a relative of Brian Johnson. He's in that 2 car. He is coming up fast too. I'm amazed. I would have thought that we would have seen these guys on pit road, and it does look like a lap car is what they're battling there. No, that 16th is my Clifton Cockrell, and he just moved himself up into the 6th position, which he is battling viciously with the 2 of Chris Johnson. You watch that battle for 6th and 7th here. The 16 of Chris Johnson, or excuse me, the 16 of Clifton Cockrell and the 2 of Chris Johnson.
You've got Mike Eames right behind him as well.
Yeah, this is going to stir up some stuff here. The dog leg, you have one diving down. And it doesn't, I haven't seen anybody benefit from that dog leg tonight.
Yeah, and Johnson's going to pass him on the outside in turn 3. And here comes Eames working on the high side as well. Hornbuckle on pit road, or was on pit road a while ago. Same with Valenzuela. They're back on the racetrack now. Nobody else is pitted other than Olsen, Valenzuela, and Hornbuckle. Greg Johnson's fallen a lap down. He's been a lap down for a while, just wasn't paying attention till right now. And Kenny Powell's the next car to potentially go 1 lap down. He's in that 15th position, fallen back from the back bumper of Tyler Pluff.
I'm guessing that these drivers back here in the back of the field are hoping and praying, just like the drivers up front, that there is a caution. But Caden Rush, I mean, he's actually gotten faster. You know, his tires haven't worn off that bad. He's now running 28.7s. You know, so he's a 1/10 of a second faster than he was, 10 laps ago. And he's got himself a comfortable 10-second lead almost. He's almost 8.5 to 9 seconds now. Soon he'll be 10 seconds ahead of these guys. That's, almost half of the track. So he could potentially, easily hit pit road and come back out half a track. You see how easily Matt Hornbuckle, look at how Matt Hornbuckle on the 56 car, he closes in on that leader, Caden Rush. Matt Hornbuckle, he's running 27.3s right now compared to Caden Rush's. Oh, and he closes right up on his bumper. Caden Rush is running 28.8s. So he's a 1.5 seconds faster. Caden Rush was smart, man. He would let him by.
And he did right there. So Hornbuckle gets one of his laps back now, just 1 lap down. Almost a 9-second lead.
It's coming up. It's Curtis Venezuela. I think he's coming up next.
Yep.
And Curtis is closing in fast. Curtis is running 27.7s compared to Caden Rush's 28.7. So he's a second faster.
Mike Knight, Jay Felton battling for 10th. And Felton will try and take this spot, still side by side. Can't quite clear him, now he does. So Felton cracks the top 10. Holyfield and Rolone battling right behind him as well, 12th and 13th. Rolone now falling back a little bit.
And Craig Johnson's now coming off pit road. He is 2 laps down.
Well,
He's coming up to speed.
Malone just fell back and allowed Tyler Pluff to get to his inside and go by.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of giving right now. These tires are like riding on jello. I mean, they're already 12 laps past when I would have thought that they would have pitted.
But you also got to think at this point that with the guys that are on the older tires on the racetrack, if you come on and pit, you may be worried about somebody with the older tires making a mistake and bringing out a caution, pinning possibly you a lap down or helping you with strategy and getting you up to the front. There are a lot of scenarios that could go wrong for the guys that are pitting early on.
That's true, but strategy tells me Matt Hornbuckle's going below the 55 here. And passes him clean. Coming up on the 21 to Tyler Pluff. Matt Hornbuckle on the fresh tires is running blistering laps right now. Of course, he's only got 3 or 4 or 5 laps on those tires.
Yeah, Hornbuckle's only 11 laps in on his tires right now. Kenny Powell has come on to pit road to get 4 tires. He's back on the racetrack.
We have 65 laps on these tires right now.
Yep. And they're feeling all 65 laps.
Yes, they are. Let's go back to our leader. Let's go in car with our leader.
Pluff and Malone in the battle for 12th. With Valenzuela trying to get by. And he'll get by both of them. Malone blinking a bit. And now he'll go to the inside of Pluff right here. He's going to save it. Almost spun the car out. Gets it going in the right direction. Gets passed by Ron Hollyfield. So he'll go from 13th to 14th. Still blinking for Malone. And he'll pull onto the apron here and let the leader go by to his outside. Malone falls 1 lap down. He's coming on to pit road.
Yeah, I was watching the in-car camera here of Caden Rush and watching his left, right turns with the steering wheel. He is seesawing that wheel. But he is getting a little faster. I mean, he is now at 28.6 laps. He's running 28 seconds. We have looks like, what is that, the 4 of Brian Johnson back on pit road? Michael Eames is looking low, trying to get around Clifton Cockrell, and he does not make it. Clifton Cockrell still holding.
They've been battling for a while. Chris Johnson was able to get by, and that's kind of been the end of the story. These guys have been nose to tail for the last 10 or 15 laps, battling for this 6th position.
And here comes our leader to put Ron Hollyfield in the 90 car down a lap.
Eames will complete the pass on Cockrell for the 6th spot. Well, he didn't quite clear him off turn 4. Cockrell drives it back in hard on the outside. Eames is able to clear him through the middle of 1 and 2. And here's Hollyfield.
He's a big checkup.
Oh, got hit.
Got in the rear of him, and that got his car a little squirrely.
Well, Hollyfield remains out in front. Remember, Hollyfield's still on the older tires. Same with Caden Rush. Rush trying to go by the outside. Hollyfield slides up the racetrack. Rush will go by on the outside.
So close. Here comes Kenny Powell back in.
Powell trying to get hit in one of his laps back.
Yeah, I do believe Caden Rush is going to try to run 80
And
laps.
Clifton Cockrell may have hit the wall. He's coming onto pit road. He got passed by Andrew Melvin. And no, he didn't hit the wall. He just got passed by Melvin and then decided to crank it hard left and bring it onto pit road. So Clifton Cockrell, first of the, one of the main leaders to come onto pit road. Got to expect everybody to follow here shortly. As here comes Powell trying to get by Caden Rush, and he'll do so off turn 2.
Caden Rush has got an extreme connectivity issue tonight. He keeps blinking out, and it kind of makes it hard to keep track of him here.
Yeah, not sure if he's on McDonald's Wi-Fi or what, but he's not loving it tonight.
No, he's not having it his way, that's for certain.
Yeah.
But he does have a comfortable 10-second lead. So he could,
True.
like I said, we're running 27-second laps here. I mean, he could potentially pit. Oh, Kenny Powell gets a little close to Tyler Pluff at 21.
Pluff a lead lap car for now. As here comes
he's
Caden
about to go a
Rush.
lap down.
Now at this point, the leaders are looking to make this on a one stop. As Mike Eames is in the way.
Oh, it crunched him. I thought Caden Rush was definitely getting into that, and this is bad territory for Caden.
And he's got a car with fresher tires behind him of Clifton Cockrell. So Cockrell's got the speed, the cars in front of him don't. Caden Rush comes up off the corner.
Caden Rush gets a little loose there too, you see?
And here comes Cockrell to the bottom. He'll take the spot. Well, he'll get one of his laps back. He's now only one lap down. So the leaders right now, they are looking to make it a one-stop race, pit around the halfway mark, and then make it to the end on these tires, barring a caution. If we make it caution-free, great. If we have a caution later on in the race, I would expect everybody to come on and get tires and a little bit of fuel just in case we do see an overtime. We get 3 green, white checkers here if we need them.
Yeah, we presently have 9 cars on the lead lap. 9.
Yeah. Ron Hollyfield makes a stop. He's on pit road. Still waiting to see the leaders come onto pit road at this point. Mike Knight is coming onto pit road as well in that 68 machine. Remember, we saw Stephen West. He's coming in, almost sped coming onto pit road. Stephen West is in, first of the lead lap, competitive lead lap cars to come onto pit road.
Yeah, I am amazed. I don't know what these guys are thinking.
Yeah.
I think
They think that maybe they can make it because they should be able to make it on fuel without any cautions here. They'll just be on really bad tires come the end of this run.
I expect to see, Gregory Hectus coming in, Brian Johnson come in. I expect that soon here. We got Brian Johnson in 3rd and Chris Johnson in 4th right now.
Jay Felton's about to be put a lap down by Caden Rush. Felton in the 8th spot. Caden Rush lurking behind him.
Caden Rush passes. Caden Rush is actually steadily at 28.7 times. He is not losing a bit of time. I mean, maybe he can. If the race goes green, it's Caden Rush's race.
At this point.
He's almost 12 seconds.
Curtis Valenzuela, he's back on pit road. He pitted already tonight. So he's making his 2nd stop. At this rate, he'll have to pit another time before the end, just based on the way he's using up the tires. Which makes sense because from when these guys pitted earlier, they would not be able to make it all the way to the checkered flag on those tires. That would be, I think, a little too much.
Caden Rush is
be able
trying
to make it on fuel either. Caden Rush, the leaders are going to be within 5 laps of running out of fuel here. Because remember, the fuel window was what, 82 laps?
Yeah.
The fuel window was 82 laps. We're on lap 82 right now. Sorry, lap 83. We've completed 82 laps. So these guys have to be saving or something to try and keep
Here
going.
comes
We're
Jay
back
Felton, the
halfway.
8-yard. Jay Felton's coming on pit road right
Felton
now.
and Fluff.
I
Mike
expect
Eames
to see
is also
Gregory
in,
Hectus
followed
coming
by
in.
Johnson.
Here comes Gregory Hectus in the 87.
Hectus
Caden
is in.
Rush.
Chris Johnson is in.
Caden Rush is driving
Caden Rush
a hybrid.
all by himself. We'll see if it works for him. Andrew Melvin also decides to stay out.
Caden Rush
Well,
is going to
stay
come
on
next
another
time
lap.
by. He's got to. He has to. There's no way.
Battery's going to run it out of fuel. Munatsi Manger has also stayed out. He's in the third spot right now. Watching Andrew Melvin. He's on the backstretch.
Here comes Jay Felton off pit road. Followed by the
Melvin's in.
21 Tyler Pluff.
Your leader, Caden Rush, stays out again. At this rate, he could run it out of gas.
I think he's pedaling it a little bit because he's slowed down. He
Maybe.
is slowing down. This is like last week. You know, Jacob, I would have never imagined they could make 88 laps last week. And they made it successfully. Here comes Caden Rush on pit road right now. He's coming for his pit.
And Munatsi Manger.
And he would look like he was almost speeding there. He might have got it slowed down there.
Oh, we'll have to see.
Yeah, he's running 45 down pit road, so he's not speeding, so he got it slowed down. This pit stop is crucial for him. If he messes up this
Right
pit
now,
stop.
Stephen West is trying to come out as the leader. He's third place right now. And Munatsi Manger just fell one lap down. Stephen West has to do another full lap to try and catch up to Caden Rush. Meanwhile, Rush is in his pit box. Gets the rights on. Now they go to the lefts. Munatsi Manger's gone. Caden Rush is gone. Stephen West just came off turn 4. So Caden Rush will come off pit road and will hang on to the lead.
And those are teammates, so that looked like a little suspicious to me there. I don't know why. It almost looked like Munatsi Majors was going to be faster than Caden coming off pit road, and he slowed down. So I don't know if he was speeding and he had to slow it down or what that scenario was there.
So the cars trapped one lap down. Tyler Pluff, Ron Hollyfield, Munatsi Major, Craig Johnson, Curtis Valenzuela 5 laps down. Everybody else out of the race. Paul Olson parked it as well at some point in this run. Everybody else still on the lead lap. Caden Rush with a 7.5 second lead over Stephen West. And that battle for second place is going on right now between Stephen West and Gregory Hectus. West is on 5 lap older tires. Here comes Hectus on the inside. And he'll take it. Gregory Hectus to second. 8 seconds back behind the leader. And they've got Brian Johnson lurking behind him as well.
In order for this race to be anything exciting, we're going to need a caution. It looks like Caden Rush just checked out.
But all it takes is one mistake for us to see a caution.
I'm really impressed with these drivers tonight. I have to say that. This is not an easy track to tame, and they've done the extremely great job tonight. I'm very impressed.
There's Brian Johnson trying to get by Stephen West. West gets a little loose on the bottom. That's going to allow
Gregory
Johnson
Hectus goes to the
yeah.
bottom, and he passes. Ooh, I thought that 83 was going to come right down on him.
Yeah, that was close. Greg Johnson in that 83. Brian Johnson trying to close it in on West for this third position. Just looking at the point standings, West is behind Brian Johnson. So if West can somehow pull away from Brian Johnson before this race is done, that would help West out in the championship. They remain side by side. Johnson takes the spot away going into turn 1, and he'll clear it. So it looks like Stephen West will only be able to pass Kyle Feemster in the championship fight right now without today's race. He's 8 points behind Brian Johnson, and Caden Rush is way out ahead of everybody. So this win just kind of helps put the nail in the coffin in the championship regard. We've got Let's take a look. 6 races left to go after tonight. We're at Darlington next week, then Michigan. Al's ditching me here from the broadcast booth to go out and take a spin in these cars at Michigan. Then my last broadcast will be at the Daytona Road Course, then Dover, Daytona, the Oval, and then we end the season at North Wilkesboro, and we get to crown a champion there. We'll have to see how things look, but as they're shaping up right now, Caden Rush has been unstoppable, and he even skipped a week. And he's still got a 32-point lead over everybody else.
Jacob, let's pause one moment, see when we have no cautions, and we'll break the commercial if we do have cautions. But let's pause and have a commercial for Napa.
Cardiology, I don't have a heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a cough, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
And welcome back. We have Caden Rush still in the lead. This is the Napa know-how, and Caden Rush knows how to get out there and stay out there. He is 10 seconds again in front of second place Gregory Heckers.
Yeah, not much has changed since you left us, or we left you. I mean, he's got lap cars ahead of him. Mike Knight, Kenny Powell. Powell's inside the top 10, so he has gained spots since the pit stop. Powell pitted earlier than the leaders by about 20 laps or so he's on just about 23 lap older tires than the leader. Mike
Let's
Knight
watch a cockpit view, Jacob. Let's watch Caden Rush do a couple laps around this track, and let's see how his car is handling. Let's go in the cockpit view here.
Yeah, so far it's looking pretty good for him.
He seesaws it a little bit there, but let's watch how he gains these. He's doing fine. He stays out that dog leg. He's got some pretty good control over that. Oh, in the wall, running the wall.
Oh, wrecking Valenzuela.
Venezuela.
Caution flag is out.
Right.
And for the first time tonight, we have a caution, and it's right in front of the leader. You're right. And Valenzuela, the heck happened to him here?
It looks like he just lost it. He probably hit his brakes, and it would not turn.
Valenzuela. What? No, he just turned dead right across the bumper of Andrew Melvin. It's like he didn't know that Melvin was there. The car just didn't turn, and he got hooked then head on into the outside wall. Wow.
Let's go back and watch that replay.
Powell barely got by. Unbelievable. So the caution's out for the first time, and pits are open. Caden Rush is in. Mike Knight should get the free pass here, and here comes all the lead lap cars onto pit road. And if you're the lap cars, you're going to have to pit as well because you're on older tires than the leaders as it is.
If you watch the replay, it looks like the 37 of Andrew Melvin coming into that turn. He just doesn't slow down, and he just pile drives Curtis Venezuela and turns him right into the wall.
I'm not 100% sure. It didn't look like there was a really good angle for us to really tell, but it looked like Valenzuela sent it in maybe a little too hard when he didn't hit his mark going into the corner, slid up and caught Melvin, and by that point, Melvin just had nowhere to go but into his right rear corner panel, and that's what sent him around.
Okay, let's watch this from the in-car camera of Andrew Melvin. Let's watch the cockpit here, and maybe we can tell what's going on with that. Let's watch the cockpit of the 37 of Andrew Melvin. And we're watching, and Curtis gets low. Andrew's coming up. Andrew just gets a nice run. I believe Andrew just got too much. He didn't hit his brakes, or maybe he hit his brakes and it was sliding. But I believe that would probably be the 37's fault.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, but it's tough to tell. Probably more of a racing deal. Chris Johnson stayed out on 17-lap-old tires. He stays out, and he is your leader. And we do have a bunch of cars taking the wave around here.
And it looks like Travis took it to the garage. Travis rolling.
Jay
He was
Felton,
running
but not
so
too major.
good.
Tyler Pluff, Ronna Hollyfield are taking the wave around, and you're right, Travis Verlone will park it. Valenzuela still on pit road. Craig Johnson just got off pit road. Andrew Melvin is on pit road. He might get lapped here as the pace car comes off turn 4, and he should let the lapped cars, the wave around cars, go by here. There are 3 of them.
Yeah, Chris Johnson in the 2 car. He wanted just to lead a lap, I believe. I don't think.
Well, maybe he stayed out.
Yeah,
He stays
he's
out
on
again.
older tires.
He's going for track position, thinking maybe we'll see another caution before the end of this race, and then he'll be on even footing with everybody else and come down with the rest of the leaders. That could be part of the strategy here, as Andrew Melvin does stay on the lead lap.
So all the cars that you see in front of the 2 car, those are lap down cars, and they're going to get a wave around here in another lap. They'll take off and go around the pace car here, and that'll
Get
put
back on the lead lap.
the 2 of Chris Johnson. Now he has lane choice, and I believe he's probably going to take the low side, and that'll put Caden Rush on the high side. Now Caden Rush, I fully expect to see a huge jump, and Stephen West will probably stay with it. This will kind of be like the beginning of the race all over again. Stephen West behind Caden Rush. This is our first caution. Amazing. Tremendous job, guys. So that puts Chris Johnson in the lead in the number 2 car. And Caden Rush is in second right now at 15. Gregory Heckes in 87 is third. Stephen West is fourth in 74. And my pick to win the race is 16. Clifton Cockrell's in fifth. The 3 car Mike Weems is 6th.
Well, Chris Johnson, he's going to pick the outside here
That's not
on the
a smart
restart.
move. Maybe he
So
just
he's going to
wanted
have Caden Rush sending it in on the inside going into turn 1.
Yeah, Chris probably just needs some points. That's probably was a point strategy for him, and it's not going to turn out too well for him because I fully expect him to shoot back to probably 5th position before lap 105. You know, we're going to start at
Chris
104.
23rd in points. He's way back there. And he gets going immediately.
Yeah, he gets on the gas.
Right away, and here comes Stephen West on the outside. Caden Rush closes the door. And here comes Heckes now looking for 3rd. Johnson slides up the racetrack. Caden Rush to the lead, and Stephen West, holy cow, what a save. He'll get 2nd.
Yeah, he's dropping like an anchor. What I tell you, he was going to be in 5th. 5th in 1 lap.
Oh,
That's
we got one
exactly
sideways, crashing. Craig Johnson's around into Kenny Powell, caution flag.
Oh, there goes Kenny. And Craig Johnson was 1 lap down, and Kenny Powell was riding up there pretty well.
Here's what happened. Craig Johnson got up into the loose stuff on the top of turns 3 and 4, tried to turn the wheel down to the left, got a 2-turn to the left, got loose, and spun right across in front of Kenny. Nowhere for him to go before he hits the inside wall and brings out the 2nd caution flag of the day. I think that run was a little too short for Chris Johnson, at least.
Well, I mean, poor Kenny Powell on the 24 machine. He was running really good. Now he's got front end damage. I mean, he's going to lose a lot of laps. That car is going to overheat. He's going to have to pull a lot of tape off the front end of that car. Let's go to the in-car camera for Kenny Powell and watch that accident happen here and see what his view looked like. I'm sure it wasn't pretty, and I'm sure he said a couple French words during that. You could see it coming, and he just nothing he can do.
Yeah.
Who was that skated around the outside with not an inch of damage? That was a 68 of Mike Knight. He just seen this accident happen, and he just stayed in the gas and went high. Yeah, poor Kenny Powell has zero luck whatsoever. I mean,
Yeah. At least he was able to get involved in a wreck past halfway. It didn't come before halfway.
yeah. Well, he's only got, 45 laps left in this race. So if he can just finish top 10, 15, he should be fine in points. Right now, it's put him in 15th.
He's in a three-way tie with Marty Walter, who's not here, and Paul Olson, who retired early. So
he can at least salvage 15th out of this.
1 point behind Austin Bulkey. He's not here, so you're right. He'll gain at least 15th. Brian Tong took a provisional in 14th, so he'll probably hang on to that spot. So Powell should be in 15th spot, as it looks like we've got maybe, hopefully, 2 laps to green.
So Brian Johnson started on the. That was. It was Chris Johnson in the 2 car that started in the race the last time. He started the last one. He's dropped way back into 9th position now. We've got first place, Caden Rush again in the 15. Second, Stephen West in the 74. Third is Gregory Hectus in the 87. Fourth, Clifton Cockrell in the 16. And fifth would be Michael Eames in the 3. Brian Johnson in the 4. He's in 6th. And we got Matt Hornbuckle in the 56 is 7th. Matt is one of our biggest movers for the race. He's already taken 6 positions. He started 13th, and now he's in 7th. Michael Knight in the 68 machine, he is running 8th. He started 11th. Chris Johnson, who just started the last restart for us in first place, is now dropped down to 9th, and that's exactly where he started at. To round out the top 10 would be Manazzi Majors in the 82. And Manazzi Majors had started out 8th, and he's now dropped into 10th.
Still 2 laps to green, it looks like here. Lights still on the pace truck. As 14 cars on the lead lap. Andrew Melvin, the last one on the lead lap. Kenny Powell, Craig Johnson, both 1 lap down. Curtis Valenzuela still sitting on pit road, 11 laps down. Everybody else out of the race. Travis Verlone, Paul Olson, Michael Doyle, Jeffrey Smith.
Let's take a look at that 56 machine of the Matt Hornbuckle. Looks like a purple people eater. It's like I said, he started 13th and he's now in 7th.
Yeah.
If he can pull out a top 5 out of this, that will be one of his best times at this track.
Well, part of that came from the strategy. He was the first one, really, of the cars up towards the front of the field that pitted, I believe, and was able to hang on to the lead lap, and now is on the same lap tires as everybody else and is in a position to get a top 5 out of the deal. Hornbuckle sits far down, 33rd in points. He'll definitely leapfrog a couple of people.
As we bunch together here, let's see how this restarts go. We have Gregory Hectus is going to start behind Caden Rush this time, and I fully expect Gregory Hectus to stay on his bumper. You'll see that 15 and that 87 nose to tail. Unless Stephen West gets a great jump, the same as Chris Johnson did in the last restart.
Field comes through turns 3 and 4. Craig Johnson's back on pit road. He's rolling again now. Valenzuela still on pit road. He didn't have a chance to begin with, but actually now Valenzuela is getting off pit road too. Pace car makes the hard left turn onto pit road. Caden Rush, Stephen West back down, and he's gone.
He caught everybody sleeping.
Hectus couldn't stay on his bumper because Hectus was asleep at the wheel. Here they go to turn 1. Stephen West dives it in. He'll hang on to second. Closing the door on Gregory Hectus.
And the track is down to 93 degrees.
And we'll call now.
That benefited Caden Rush. I mean, we've dropped 14 degrees.
Yep. Here they come through turns 3 and 4. Everybody makes it through this time. As we're closing in on just 40 laps to go. Battle for third. Gregory Hectus, Clifton Cockrell. All over each other here. Coming off turn 4.
And looking at the stats here as far as this race goes, Caden Rush's fastest lap is at 27.007. He's almost 2/10 faster than the rest of the field.
And he just set that lap.
Yes,
His
second
fastest
place.
lap of the race just came a lap ago. That's incredible.
Second place is at 27.05.
Yeah. And he's already almost caught some lap traffic. Andrew Melvin. Whoa, where is Hectus going? He just lost third and he's about to lose fourth. Cockrell gets by Brian Johnson and sends it in and is able to get by as well. So Hectus goes from third to fifth. Valenzuela's the other lap car. He's going to pull to the inside and try and get out of the way here in turn 1.
We've got Curtis Venezuela, and it's 36 is just causing a traffic jam back there. He is pulling to the inside, trying to let everybody pass.
And
I don't think
Andrew Melvin is the next car to lap.
Curtis Venezuela's not even running. He's not even running speed. Sanctioned
Well,
speeds
I think
here.
the problem with what happened was the fact that he was caught on pit road for a while. He got off pit road at the same time as Andrew Melvin, and that's why the field was so quick to get up there. As Ron Hollyfield trying to pass Mike Knight for 10th.
I think Curtis
Okay,
Venezuela on the 36 is going to call it a day. He's gonna park there.
Hollyfield still fighting hard with Knight for the 10th spot. Felton behind him as well as Mudatsi Major.
Oh, they are battling pretty hard there. That's going to be another caution unless we can straighten these guys out. Jay Felton is caught.
And Knight had to move up, and here comes Felton underneath. He gets by Hollyfield, holds up Felton. Felton almost gets a bumper from the 68 Mudatsi Major, just watching and hoping they don't wreck. Oh, Mudatsi Major! Almost got
eye draft there. Nice. Takes it down to dog leg just to recoup. Nazi Majors almost caused a big no-no there.
They'll send it in too far back. Here comes Felton.
He's going to go to the inside again.
Hollyfield with the better run off the corner. They'll hang on to the spot.
It's not for long.
Yeah, he opened the door. He left the door open, and Felton's going to try and kick the door down off turn 2. Not quite. Sends it in for turn 3. Wow. Makes it work. And the Hollyfield can't get back by him. Good move. Battle for 6th. Mike Eames, Matt Hornbuckle.
And while we were watching that battle go on, I picked to win the race. Clifton Cockrell just moved into the 3rd position.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go, though, to catch the 2 cars in front of him, Caden Rush, Stephen West. Because they're both pretty far out ahead. Rush pulling away from West. And Cockrell sitting just about an even distance behind West.
Let's watch this 56, the purple people leader here. This Matt Hornbuckle in that 56 machine. He's trying to pick his line to get around the Michael Eames machine. Monster Energy. He almost took it to 4. Chris Johnson coming right on his tail here.
And Brian Johnson has caught Clifton Cockrell for that 3rd spot. They're not done battling for it yet.
Well, they've got 20 laps to go, so they're trying to push it up.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Caden Rush has only gained about 0.8 of a second for his 2nd place Stephen West.
Yeah. Here's Johnson looking for 3rd. On the inside, Cockrell on the outside. Johnson can't quite get there. But can't even up the goal. Cockrell hangs on. Johnson right to the back bumper of Cockrell. Gonna push him down the front stretch to turn one. Door is open. Here comes Johnson. Side by side.
Cockrell gets that top line. If he just hold it.
Johnson sends it in anyways. Kicks that door down. They're still side by side. And Johnson clears.
Oh, and it leaves room for Gregory Hectus to sneak up in there. Boy, and I think my pick, I might have cursed him.
Yeah. I'll have to see. As Caden Rush now has a second gap over Stephen West. With this time by 30 laps to go. Hornbuckle Chris Johnson, 7th place battle. Closest battle on the racetrack.
Oh, the 3 and the 87 there, the 3 of Michael Eames and Gregory Hectus.
Yep.
They were battling a minute ago, and they kind of slowed that down. Sneaking right behind them is that 21 machine Tyler Buck. That guy has been fairly fast, but he doesn't have enough time to beat the front.
Nice little battle back here from Hectus on back with Eames, Hornbuckle, Johnson, Tyler Pluff on the edge of this train as well. And similar to what we saw at the beginning of the race.
Start closing this up. They're going to put some heat on Cliff the Cockrell here.
Yeah.
Out of 2 or 3 laps. We're putting down Andrew Melvin a lap down. So that leaves 13 cars going to lead lap. That will be the next one to go a lap down.
There's a long way to go for him to get lapped. He'll need to wreck in order for him to fall a lap down at this point. So Caden Rush trying to pick up his his second win on the season. I thought he had 2 wins already in the bank. He's only got 1. He's made 5 starts, tonight being his 6th. We've had 7 races, and he leads the championship. And he's going to try and put an exclamation point by winning here tonight. Now, 2nd and 3rd, eventual 2nd and 3rd in the points, Stephen West, Brian Johnson. They're right behind him on the racetrack as well, so we won't pull away as much. But still, Caden Rush has finished in the top 5 in all 5 of his starts so far this season. Tonight will make number 6. Brian Johnson's made 6 well, nobody else in the field has more top 5s than Caden Rush. Caden Rush has made all but 1 start, and he's finished in the top 5 in every start that he's made. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else is even close to that. Brian Johnson, Jay Felton, 4 top 5s each. They've both made all 6 starts. Felton's on the outside looking in for top 5. So Brian Johnson's going to become the 2nd highest top 5 guy in town. Unless a miracle happens, Felton sits in the 10th spot right now. 2nd and a half between Caden Rush and Stephen West. Brian Johnson trying to close in the gap. He's got to get
Matt
around.
Hornbuckle got loose. He got loose. He had an opportunity for the 2-car, Chris Johnson, to sneak by in the 21 of Tyler Clough.
And Felton's right behind him as well.
Yeah, Jake Felton, he's going to capitalize on this. He's going to stay right behind.
Felton will stay in line with Hornbuckle down the back straightaway. And try and pull up. Thought about going to the inside. Clough still there on the bottom. Clough gets a little sideways. Hornbuckle fighting back. We'll see if Felton can send it in on the bottom, and he will. Buckle have to give up that spot as well. So Hornbuckle falls from 7th to 10th in just a couple of laps.
He's giving it all he's got, Captain. He's giving it all he's got, but I think he's still going to lose it.
Maybe trying to get a crossover. Felton pushes him up the racetrack a bit. Won't get the crossover. Off turn 4. Felton will hang on to that spot.
Gregory Hectus wants 4th so bad. He keeps pushing it in there, and he might get it if he just can be patient.
He's got Mike Hoops on his bumper. As well as Chris Johnson in the 2 machine.
Yeah, Michael Eames in the 3 machines wants to battle for that position that Gregory Hectus has.
Trying to go around the outside.
Let's see who the 2 of Chris Johnson sticks with here. Eames gets a nice little run off the top line there. That's not going to be enough to put him in front of Gregory Hectus.
He goes all the way down to the inside wall. Hectus fighting.
An opportunity for Cockrell to pull ahead quite a bit.
Yep.
Oh, Michael Eames
Here
gets back
comes
in line.
Johnson underneath Eames.
Johnson might get it here. No, Michael Eames rides it in tough there and takes it.
Yeah.
It's good balance side by side. This is not what Jay Felt wants to see in his front windshield right now. Those guys battling side by side is not going to last that long.
Well, at this rate, Felton might get a top 5 finish here because he is flying through this field. He may have saved his stuff here for the last couple laps. So far, it's working for him.
Meanwhile, our leaders put up second and a half gap between him and second place Stephen West.
It isn't as big as it was before, but I think it's insurmountable at this point for Stephen West and Caden Rush. Rush is out there, I think, just riding around trying to bring it home to the end of this deal.
He's just clicking laps down one by one. He's waiting for that checkered flag.
And he's got 16 laps to go.
He's got about 6 minutes left. He'll finish his, if there's no cautions, in 6 minutes and he'll be a winner. Meanwhile, it does look like Michael Eames wants that position from Gregory Hectus really bad.
Now, he hasn't given up on this battle yet for 5th. Cockrell's right in front of him as well, so one mistake by him, and that could put 4 cars in the battle for 4th place here.
As Michael Eames tries the high side around Hectus and
go to the bottom.
Back it up. Yeah, he backs it off. Thought he was going to pull it in there.
Had room for a moment. Won't do it. Didn't send it into turn 1.
Go in car with Michael Eames and kind of see what's going on with his car. See what his windshield looks like here.
Maybe try and undercut it here. Not enough room. Still trying to go to the inside. Hectus got the better run on the high side.
Michael Eames is steady at the wheel. He's not really seesawing back and forth. He might be just waiting it out here, and he's got to put the pressure on. He's just got 12 laps to go here. He's got to step it up a little bit and take a little bit more of a risk.
Oh, he got loose there coming off turn 4.
He got loose.
That could have been big. Two seconds now, the gap between Rush and Stephen West.
Yeah, unless something huge happens, you stick a fork in this, it's done.
Yeah.
Caden Rush is going to walk away with it. And I'm
With 10 laps to go.
Here goes Michael Eames to the inside of the 87 machine of Gregory Heckus, and he backs out of it a little bit there. He's still got a bumper in there.
For now, Hector's going to try and close the door. Eames is going to hit him.
He's got him. He's got him in the wall. Both of them in the wall. And that gives an opportunity for two of Chris Johnson to come around.
Eames keeps rolling, and he'll not lose as many spots. Hector falls all the way to 10th. Eames only loses 1 spot. Actually, he stays right where he's at. He passed Johnson, and he got passed by Johnson, but he was able to pass Hector and hang on, so he'll stay in the 6th spot, but that damage might kill him and prevent him from getting to Chris Johnson. Contact between 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it's going to put Gregory Hector at the back.
And that's what happens in that low line. If you're in that low line and you don't have good tires underneath it, it will push up every time. Now we're seeing Manazzi Majors putting a little heat on the 3-car of Michael Eames, and he's probably going to get that position. But I'm imagining the handling on that 3 machine has gone away.
We'll have to find out here.
We're running, what, 5
Under 10 to go?
Yeah. Manazzi, you got that, buddy. Put that 82 machine up in there. That's going to be huge for Manazzi Majors in the 82 machine.
Yeah.
He's not finished in the top 10, I don't think, all season yet.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for him this season. He's been involved in a lot of wrecks. Yeah, Manazzi Major, no top 10s, no top 5s, no anything.
I think that's the same with Clifton Cockrell.
No, not Cockrell. Cockrell, he has 1 top 5.
Does he have 1 top 5?
Yep. Not sure where it came from, but he does have 1 top 5 to his column. But you're right, he's been up at the front of the lot and hasn't been able to capitalize this season. But it looks like tonight will be the night, as we're at 4.5 laps to go here from Phoenix. Next week, we're Darlington. That ought to be good. Under the lights in Darlington.
That's going to be a fun one to watch. That's going to be a wreck fest. You are not going to want to miss that.
Yeah,
we're going to see cars airborne, sideways, flying all over the air. It's going to be a tremendous show.
It's going to be something to keep us entertained, that's for sure. Coming to 4 laps to go this time by.
It looks like Brian Johnson in that 3rd is not happy with 3rd position. He is trying to put the heat on Stephen West for 2nd.
Yeah.
And this could be a big points thing for these guys right now. That's why they're battling so hard. And we have 3, almost 4-second gap between Caden Rush and Stephen West. And after the finish of this race, we're going to take a small chat with 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. And right now, that presently looks like Caden Rush, Stephen West, and Brian Johnson. Now we have a couple laps
that way unless they wreck each other here for 2nd spot.
Yeah.
Anything
could happen.
What a race it's been.
1 caution. If you would have told me the beginning of this race, we were going to see.
We did have a second in there.
We've had more than 1.
Yeah. But it took a while for that first caution to come out, almost 100 laps.
Yeah, they say caution breeds cautions. Once the first one flies out, then more of them start to come through here. Tonight, I do believe we have seen Caden Rush blink out 150 times. He's just a blinking machine tonight.
He got loose off turn 4, keeps his foot in it. White flag, 1 lap to go here from Phoenix.
Yeah, he's got a comfortable 3.5 second lead. He can actually coast to the line here in a little bit.
Off turn 4, Caden Rush is going to extend the points lead, and he will get his second win and win at Phoenix. Battle for second won't be enough for Brian Johnson. Stephen West comes across the line second. Brian Johnson third. Clifton Cockrell in fourth with Chris Johnson on his tails.
He came squirrely.
Munatsu Major came home sixth. Jay Felton seventh. Tyler Pluff eighth. Hectus ninth. Mike Eames fell all the way to 10th.
Finishing 11th is the 90 of Ron Hollyfield, even though he was involved in that wreck.
Mike Eames got punted by Munatsu Major on the white flag lap in turn 1. That's why Mike Eames fell back so much. He got turned by Munatsu Major, stuffed it in 3 wide on the bottom, and got him around, and he lost a lot of time.
And even though Gregory Hectus caught the wall and got pushed up into the wall, he was able to still finish in the top 10.
Yeah, he passed Eames there at the line.
Ron Hollyfield finishing 11th. Matt Hornbuckle in the 56 machine finishing 12th. And Mike Knight in the 68 machine finished 13th. Andrew Melvin in the 37 is 15th. Kenny Powell came out and finished 15th, even though he was involved in the wreck earlier. And not his fault this week. The 83 of Craig Johnson finishing 16th, and he is 2 laps down. The rest of the field is at least 50 plus laps down, and that's the 36 of Curtis Venezuela finishing 17, 54 laps down. Travis Rowland was looking pretty strong in the beginning of this race in the 55 machine, and he's finished 18th, 64 laps down. Paul Olson in the 43 machine finishing 19th, 90 laps down. Michael Doyle called it an early day. He is 126 laps down, and so did Jeffrey Smith in the 96 machine. And that concludes the running of our ISM Raceway. Napa. Napa know-how, and Caden Rush surely knows how to put on a show. It was a pretty clean race. All these drivers did a fantastic job, and we're going to get an opportunity to speak to our winner, Caden Rush, here momentarily.
As well as second and third place, Brian Johnson and Stephen West and Brian Johnson. We'll see who we can get to speak with first. Survey says it sounds like it's going to be Brian Johnson we talked to first, and he is here.
Brian Johnson, our third place, number 4. Brian, how are you? How was that race, Brian?
Good. How are you guys? Yeah, the race was good.
I'm actually
runs. It was
hoping that there was going to be more of a battle between you and Stephen West, and it brewed up to be that way towards the end, but it was a phenomenal run for you tonight, as always.
Yeah, I got held up there for a little bit. Had to run them down. I had a decent car. Struggled throughout the week, just find speed, and made some changes last night. Finally found some long run speed, so I felt like I was just a little bit better than him. But Caden, congrats to Caden. He definitely had the best car there.
Surprisingly, Caden Rush, I mean, to take those down to 85 laps, 86 laps on those tires, I mean, it's to run like he was, that was great. But it's not taking away anything from your performance tonight. That was a performance that was stellar, and we appreciated watching that. And Stephen West was a little loose. I thought you could capitalize on that.
Yeah, we were all a little bit loose. It was like riding on ice out there. We got some laps on the tires. But it was fun. This low downforce package, it's really fun.
Well, I think you closed up the points lead a little bit there. We didn't have Kyle Feemster this week, so that should have put you up there a little bit further, bud.
Well, about that, he was already in second. So Johnson actually lost points to Caden Rush since he was the guy in front of him, and Caden went on to win. But you're still pretty solid in second spot, and you've got a long way to go yet to try and catch up to Caden.
Yeah, we still got a few more races to go. So can't wait till next week.
You'll be on victory lane. Keep driving like you did tonight, Brian. Great job, bud.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bud.
There you have third place, Brian Johnson. Well, we'll see him next week from Darlington. And let's see, we have
our race winner, Mr.
Rush.
Caden Rush in the 15 machine. He was rushing through the field. Caden, you had 10 seconds at one point in this race in front of second place. Was able to pit and come back out with an 8 to 9 seconds. That car was on rails tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was insanely fast.
Oh, you put on a performance that was almost quite boring for us to watch because, I mean, we tried to pan through the rest of the field where the excitement was because you were out there so far. It was no competition until you started passing cars. You got yourself at one point in a predicament. It looked like you were going to get wrecked out.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Guy wasn't even on the same lap as two other people, and just almost caused a huge calamity. But luckily, I slid it the whole way through the entry to the middle of the corner. I was lucky I didn't lose control of it, but definitely lucky to come out on the good end of that deal.
So tell me how you were able to run 86 laps on one set of tires. I mean, was those tires feeling like Jello at one point, or were you thinking you had pretty good control over it?
I was thinking I had pretty good control over it. The fuel could definitely go to the 86 laps. I mean, obviously, probably could have pit a little bit earlier, got a little bit better tires on it, but for what it was worth, running the tires with the fuel was pretty much the way to go. I didn't really see any point of doing more than the one stop that you needed for fuel.
Well, you put on a hell of a performance tonight, and it was fun to watch at times. But you capitalized, and you were actually the star of the show tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's win number 2 for Caden Rush.
And we're getting Stephen West shortly. We're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. So Caden Rush hanging on to the points lead, and maybe waiting. Bueller. There he is. Stephen West. Second place finisher.
Stephen West, our first loser.
Oh, come on now.
Stephen, I thought you had something. At the beginning of this race, it looked like your car was phenomenal. And as it got about 20 laps on those tires, it got squirrely on you, but you still pulled off a phenomenal second place in front of Brian Johnson. Did you feel any heat from Brian towards the end of this race?
Oh, towards the end of it, I was watching my relative there, and it was just ticking down, and then I got loose coming out of 4, and he caught right up to me, and I thought he was going to get me there at the end. But no, it was great racing. The beginning of the run, I was just trying to hang with Caden there. He's fast, and gave it everything
he had
I had.
something. The car was on rails. I couldn't figure it out, but in the beginning of the race, I swore I would have told anybody that Stephen West was going to win this race. So luckily you finished second, so I didn't look so dumb. But you did a phenomenal race in the night, and you were able to avoid the little bit of cautions we had. How do you feel the race went all in all?
It was good. It was fun having a 98 lap green flag run. That was a long one. It was getting a little wild there towards the end before the pit stops, but no, that was a lot of fun.
There's a lot of a lot of lap cars to pass by there.
Yeah, I mean, it was clean racing everybody I was around. It was lots of fun. Guys helped me out with the setup and stuff this week, and we ran a lot of practice laps again, and just trying to figure this whole thing out, and I think we're getting there.
What are we going to see from you next week, Stephen?
Hopefully a win.
Hopefully, is that a good track for you next week?
We'll see. It's a little different. It's fun, but it's one of those ones you gotta let it all hang out and see what you got at the end.
Well, I sure do look forward to it, and I hope to see you in victory lane next week. Great run, Steve.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, bud.
Our second place, Stephen West. So, just like that, race is over. Caden Rush wins his second race on the season, hangs on to the points lead. Final thoughts here, Al.
Well, again, like I've said all race, this was a phenomenal performance by these drivers. There were some accidents. I just think it was lack of patience. Didn't look like there was much loss of car control there, but it was just lack of patience. but the racing all in all was phenomenal. The ending, Caden Rush, he had about a 4-second lead, but Stephen West and Brian Johnson put a hell of a show on it, and I thought it was going to be a side-by-side finish where we had to go back to the camera and see who was going to finish second here. But Stephen West was able to pull a notch out in front of Brian Johnson and finish clean for second. It was a great job from all of them, and I can't wait to watch next week.
Well, there you have it. We'll be at Darlington a week from tonight, same time, same place. Caden Rush, your winner here at Phoenix Raceway. We're glad to have you along here for the iRacing Stock Car Association. Kenny Powell, the league owner, thanks to him for letting us do this every single week. Our producer, Rob Melnick. Us up here in the booth, Al Kozlowski. I'm Jacob Hitz. We'll see you in Darlington next week. Take care and good night.